All right, so let's start talking about your game, sir. So NBB.exe, Raptus Games. Give us an update
Hmm.
on what's going on with you. Obviously, your game released. I'll
Yes.
let you talk about whatever you want. I haven't had a chance to play your game. Unfortunately, I use all Macs. We talked about this. This is a Steam game. That's where it was based on. Hopefully, you'll bring it to consoles because that's where Wes and I thrive, right? We
That's
love
right.
Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. I mean, you could talk about your plans if you have plans on bringing it there. Then I will, dude. I'm gonna 100% play your game. I cannot wait to play your game because it sounds like it's right up my alley. But I'll let you take the
It's
floor.
very hard.
I don't care. A
It's really, really
Metroidvania,
hard.
give it to me all day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Today I was actually watching a Brazilian guy stream it, and they were saying that it's a Kaizo game, which I know what Kaizo games are. I
I don't know
don't.
what
I
it is.
didn't plan to do that.
What's a Kaizo
Kaizo.
game?
Have you ever seen a game called like I Want to Be the Guy?
No.
They're
Mm-mm.
like sort of ROM hacks of Mario that are completely unfair.
Oh, like hard as hell. Like that's
Yeah,
what.
hard as hell,
Okay,
impossible. Like you can only get through a level if you've played it before and know where every death is.
gotcha.
Because like there'll be spikes in places where there's floor, so if you touch it, you die. And like yeah, those games, the whole thing is you're gonna die a billion times. It's unfair. And they were saying that my game was a Kaizo game. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that hard. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if people are interested in playing it like that, I'm excited. I mean, if it finds a niche there, why not? You know?
Give us the elevator pitch for somebody who's hearing about your game for the first
Yeah.
time. What is it exactly, and what would make you want to play it?
So it is. Originally, it was a reinterpretation of Bomberman. I wanted to make it more of an action game. It started as a 4v4 sort of arena, single screen sort of Bomberman. You know how Bomberman works? You
Mhm.
run around in the screen with different bombs. It was only multiplayer. Uh, and it was a lot of fun back in the day when I was studying in Australia. We used to play it with my teammates because we had little teams that were doing different games, and they loved it. And we made a few games with my partner of the time in Raptus Games, but he left Raptus. But we picked the game up later on, and I started developing it, and the single player aspect kind of became more interesting to me. I wanted to add more complexities to it. I wanted to give it sort of a narrative, and it really grew to just like the multiplayer is like this thing here, and now the game is that. So it is basically a level based puzzle platformer, precision platformer that uses mechanics of Bomberman and a lot of like sort of fast paced Crash Bandicoot like levels. But the like the interesting thing about it is that outside of the levels there is a world, and the game is really in the world, which is not immediately evident. You can finish the game just playing through the levels and finishing the game, but that's the bad ending,
Is there
right?
still a multiplayer part of this, or did this
Yes, there
kind of
is.
complete? Okay, okay.
It's
Is it like
it's
co-op multiplayer, like versus, or what?
there's local co-op, local versus mostly. The It's designed to be versus. You can play through the whole game co-op.
Hmm.
It is very difficult, and it's even more difficult if you're playing with people because it's all,
You have to
of
work
course,
together.
you have to work together, and not just that, but even the camera has to keep you both on screen because it's all local co-op. So it's harder to get your bearings on like platforms when the camera is trying to. It's a little bit like Mario, like Mario the Wii. What's it called? The new Super Mario Wii U things.
One person
Mhm.
goes too far, the camera starts to
Yeah,
follow them.
Yeah.
fucking. And then oh, you bounced on the other person, you killed them, and they're like oh in a bubble, and you try to save them, but you jump off to your death, and now everyone's dead, and now you restart the level. Super
My
fun.
wife doesn't play many games, but we played that particular game together. Man, I thought she was going
He's
to kill
not
me
your wife
multiple
anymore.
times.
Yeah.
barely, barely skate through that one.
No, that's why I feel like the game is much more like if you're gonna do the co-op or versus, it's the versus mode if you want to play it with other people locally. It's more, it feels more of a party game like that. There's sort of a soccer mode, there's a deathmatch mode, and there's a Queen of the Heel, Queen of the Heel mode. And they're different kind of small arenas that have different objectives. But yeah, the big star of the game is really the story. I was telling you that the launch could have gone a little bit better. I was trying for months to get in, like, across to press and YouTubers and stuff. And well, this is kind of my fault, I suppose, because the game presents itself as something very like lighthearted and colorful and sort of like energetic, and it's a hard as hell platformer. Like, and if you actually get into the story, is an extremely dark story.
It
So
definitely doesn't present itself as a dark story. Like just from
that's
the art and like the it's very stylized. It does not look like
yeah, but
something that's going to be dark.
that's exactly like what my purpose was. But I don't think that games give themselves well to that, like especially in marketing. I was saying this the other day, which I don't know if it's a good simile or if I was just pissed off, but I feel like games are like porn. You don't want surprise porn. You know what you like, you know? I don't want like, oh, this is an incest thing. Oh, this is gay. I didn't know if I
Oh
like.
my god!
You don't want things to pop up on your game like that, you know?
Sure,
Like generally, people do search for like, oh, I want a fighting game. I want a platforming game. I want an RPG. I want a Souls like.
right. Like when I knew when you were like, oh, it's like a Metroidvania with Bomberman. I was like, okay, Metroidvania. Now
Right.
you're speaking my language. You know.
Exactly. And so, but when you see it originally, the game presents itself as a very linear sort of level based thing. And when sending it to people, they have a very hard time kind of understanding that there's a something outside of those levels of this linear structure, and that there's not like there's something a little bit more complex going on, and they dismiss it very quickly.
So is it being dismissed? Like, is it because the early levels are like that, and then it changes over time, and it kind of opens up and becomes something different? Is that what they're not seeing, or?
I mean, I wish I knew. I had a, I will say, I'll have to shout out someone, because honestly, if the game succeeds, it'll be because of them. Is someone called Misspelled Moose on YouTube. He made a review of my game.
Hmm.
He was one of the few people that like got back to me and was like, "Yep, I'll do it, sure." And I sent him like a few like guidelines for reviewing the game, because yeah, I mean, I had an idea that it would be difficult for people just to get it immediately. But like four of the five or six of the people that I've sent review codes to, some of them responded, but most of them just, I saw the reviews, they were basic. They didn't get anything. They didn't look further than anything. Like this one
Like they
reviewer,
only played it for a few minutes and were like, "Oh, like something like
yeah,
that." Is that what you're saying?
or maybe they did finish the main story, but they never like went out of their way to find anything else, right? And this is the one reviewer that like got back to me, and I was like, "Hey, I found this. What does this mean? Can you help me get further?" And I would give them like hints and stuff, and he got all the way to the true ending, and he loved it. He was impressed by it. He gave it a very glowing review, and it now has like 2,000 views on YouTube,
Nice.
and my
Okay.
wish lists have skyrocketed because of that.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's what I need. That's what I needed, someone to do that, right? And this is not a big YouTuber. This is a very like a small channel with someone who doesn't get that sort of views normally. So
Sounds like a win-win, man. That's
no, of
awesome.
course it's wonderful, but it I was trying to get there for honestly like 3 months. I was sending it everywhere, just no response. Smaller review sites, nothing. YouTubers, most YouTubers, like because of the way that the game looks, are like, "Oh yeah, I would love to stream it and co-op with my friend," and I'm like, looking at your content. I mean, I'm gonna send you a code. I'm gonna send you a code, but you're gonna fucking hate it. It's gonna be miserable. You know.
Yeah,
This is not what you
that's
want.
not the point of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because also they're not like interested in doing like just a versus thing, right? They're gonna go through the levels and start like, oh, the platforming feels terrible, and it probably does when you're playing co-op. You know, if
Yeah.
you know the levels, we can like. I play with Rick. We play co-op, and we can beat the game sort of co-op. But it's you have to know the levels by heart, the way that they work. It's hard. The game is fucking hard. Right? I mean, I don't think so, but everyone tells me it was like, no, 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 your game is fucking hard. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy right now with how it's going in that sense. Um, I hope that maybe it gets some sort of status as a, I don't know, a niche platformer. I am trying to eventually move it to the Xbox.
Hey man, if you get on a console,
Yeah.
Yeah,
not that let me be clear. If I had I don't even have a PC in this damn house that's not mine. Like the PCs that are in my house
Yeah.
that are function. Let's call them functional PCs. The only one
Yeah.
I have is my work computer. I'm not allowed to do anything on that. Like it's
Of
completely
course.
locked down by my company. So I would totally be all over this. I'd be checking it out if I absolutely could. But if you do bring it to consoles, you will 100% see me and Wes and I's ass on there for sure.
Yeah, no, I want
100%.
to.
100%.
I think that the space is also better for that, at least for that type of game. I think
I
that
can see that.
more people will be interested in playing a game like that. I mean, I've had a lot of people trying to insist on playing it with keyboard, and I'm like, you're not gonna get through the game on a keyboard, friend.
What would be involved in moving it to console?
I mean, honestly, now it's just paying fees and stuff like that.
Why do you have to pay? Like,
I mean, I can tell you.
like a
So
license. I'm sure you have to get like a licensing fee, right, to be able to use it on. Like, that's probably the only fee. I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, I already. So there are NDAs about Microsoft that I cannot really speak of much,
Okay.
but I have everything on that side already sorted out. My current issue is that for the Unity, the engine that I use, in order for them to allow you to export to the to consoles, you need to get like the Pro Plus version, right? And I currently have like the basic Pro.
Sure. The Pro Plus is probably like
Yeah.
a ridiculous amount of money. That's how they're
I
making.
mean, it's not that much, but I've spent so much money on this game, and like it's enough for me to be like you can check the prices. It's like $2,000 for a year.
Hmm.
I think you can pay monthly, but I think I would probably pay a year because it's like much cheaper, and you're better off having at least a year because you know you're gonna have to do patches and stuff. You don't want to be
So,
paying months.
what would be the benefit of you paying that extra $2,000? Or like, how would that? Would it be? Do you think it would be worth it? And what would it do that's different?
I mean, it wouldn't do anything different. It would just allow me to publish.
Hmm.
There's a button where it says export to this platform,
Bullshit. I mean,
and
I get
in my current
it's
version,
free. Like, I get that they have to make money somehow. I do
yeah,
understand it, but damn, that sucks, man.
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, if I wanted to press that button, you have to pay, and that's it. That's it. It used to be free. Xbox used to have a program that they would allow you some access to it as an independent, but that does not exist anymore because indies are a dime a dozen, and
It seems like Xbox is opening up more to indies, at least as of just the past few weeks. They, there was a company that got was not getting help from them. And then,
oh yeah, yeah.
Steam reached out, and it seems like after that happened, some I don't work for Microsoft. It seems like some shit went down, and they were like, "Listen, stop making it difficult for these people to get into our platform." It seems
No,
like something
no.
like that happened.
I mean, that's always the case, but the truth is that the issue is a little bit more systemic, I find. Uh, it used to be that indies were a value for platforms.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't that many. Like
Yeah,
in
when
the
Braid was like crushing it, and like back, God, what? How, was that
exactly
2006? 2006, 2007, somewhere around there.
Yeah, all these indie games became like a bit of a comparative advantage for these platforms.
Hmm.
But now that indies have been kind of democratized, as they like to say, there's just too many. And there's too many that are at pretty decent level. And so because there's such offer to them, they don't they can like they can put up the wall because it's not worth it for them to be like paying off Unity license fees forever for every developer when there's going to be so many developers in the platform that they're not going to sell anything because they don't have the distinction anymore. So it stops becoming like an advantage for their platform. And so they are interested in having you there, but they're not going to make as much of an effort for you to be there as they used to. And
Gotcha.
that is the big like the sucky part of it now. Um, everyone's very interested in you self-publishing, but but they don't want to really help you.
Does let me ask you this. You may not be able to talk about it, but did you try to get onto like Game Pass or anything like that?
You, I don't know. I don't know if you can even speak of that. The
Yeah,
truth is
that's,
that
that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to ask you if you.
no. The
Hey,
point is that like
you can say.
I don't really know if I can I have any information of it.
Oh, okay.
There's no way to do it from your side.
So you think they're like handpicking these? Like somebody's going through and like, we
I
want you to be on Game Pass.
honestly, what happens is that they work with publishers and not independent self-publishing partners. It's what I was telling you. So this is a bit of a whistleblower because I don't give a fuck, honestly. I just yeah. Um, there was this game in Steam that released some time ago called Content Warning, I believe. It got pretty big. It's one of those like extraction sort of multiplayer,
I've heard of this
like
before. That name sounds.
phasmophobia.
Yeah, that name sounds so familiar. I've definitely heard of this game.
Yeah, and so what happened is that for that game, the game got released on Steam for free for a day.
Yes, yes. I know. I
Yes.
know exactly. I don't know the game, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
And the next day it was $9, I believe, or $7.99, something like that.
And people wanted it because it blew up
Yeah,
from being free for
exactly.
that day.
Yeah. And so I thought, hey, I'm down to do this. You know, I want to put my game out for free, maybe for a day or two. And so I contacted Steam, and it's like, actually, only special partners, you know? You're
That's
not
bull.
special enough.
Wow.
Such bullshit.
And
Oh, you
so,
can do it, but you can't. Oh my god, man.
no, you can only do 40% off of your launch. And I'm, fuck, okay, fine, I guess.
That
That's all I could do.
it seems to me it's like, oh, do you know somebody? No, you don't know anybody.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. No, I mean, that's what it is. And something even more upsetting that I'm still struggling with, my game is a heavy-ish game for how small it is. You know, it has a fair few features that are kind of like next gen-y, whatever. It's heavier than it looks. It's not just like an indie looking indie, you know. It has a lot of filters and effects and stuff. And so I've been trying to optimize it a lot for handhelds, for Steam Deck, right? Because that's a big thing nowadays. If
Yeah,
it
that
runs on the Steam
absolutely
Deck,
is.
especially because if it runs on the Steam Deck, you get a different section on the store.
Well, that's definitely huge.
Right.
That's gonna raise your noticeability. You know.
So, since months ago, since I had a build ready, uploaded on Steam, I was trying to get certified for Steam Deck. There is no way for me to get certified for Steam Deck until they say so. Only certain partners have the ability to get their software certified for Steam Deck.
Wow. That's
And
crazy.
so,
They have so much money and so few employees. That is unbelievable.
I imagine that that's the thing, right? they have a lot of money, not many employees, so they don't have the bandwidth to just allow
But if you
everyone.
have all the money, then you have the bandwidth. Like, hire somebody. It's not
That's what I thought.
complicated.
That's what I would think. But like, it actually tells you, like, if you're selected, you'll see a button here. If you're not, wait
So,
for your chance.
dude, that reminds me so much. Like, this is probably not good to say on this platform, but YouTube just doesn't give a like about anything. Like, if you have a
No.
problem, it's like you basically are left praying to the gods that someone's gonna notice what you're saying and respond. And usually, you have to just beat them over the head in social media to get a
Yeah.
hold of a human to help you with a problem. It's
Yeah.
like insane. Like Google, you can't afford someone to fix YouTube. A third of the people in the world, let me say that one more time, a third of the people in the world use YouTube. And you can't afford to get people to help the people who are putting shit on your platform?
It is awful.
That's insane.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, it's, and it's not even like, you can't even get a hold of people. That's the other thing. Because like it's been such like loops that I've had to hop around to even get an answer about these things.
Bots and AI first, man. Always.
Yeah.
Always a
Wow.
bot or an AI first.
And like, for example, for the first thing, for getting the game free for a few days and then releasing paid, I answered, like, I went to the Steam answers or whatever, and I had a ticket. I was like, hey, I would like to do this, and the first answer was like, no, that's not possible. And I'm like, bitch, this game, this was the price. I like, I screenshotted. This was the price at launch. This was the price 2 days after. Okay, you're telling me that's not possible. And it's like, and then it was like, excuse us, we have a very trusted relationship with the developer, blah blah blah, and they do very creative things. And it's like, and you are not one of them, and you cannot sit with us.
Dude.
So I mean, it feels like everything is sort of stacked against you. I don't know, and it has been such a struggle to get anyone to look at the game. And when someone really does and actually delves into it, they do appreciate it. But getting that extra mile is such a challenge. Everything seems to have to be like really up in your face and really already knowing what you are required to say or to show. It's hard to explain, but like, it's very disappointing for me that games need to be already proven sort of valuable to be valuable. It's sort of the same thing as like, oh, you need 3 years of experience to get into a job. Like, how?
They just need to have better curation. Like, they need to, these companies would benefit so much. I don't think they even understand how much more they would benefit if they just curated the products. Like, no offense to indie developers, right? But there are some people out there who are just asset flipping, filling up these stores with garbage, and then a game where you spent 10 years making
Yeah.
can't get the attention that it deserves. That's insane. Like, that's a problem with your platform. Go on the Switch shop. Holy shit. Go on the, I'm sorry, eShop, whatever it's called. Go in there and just see what the deals are. It's like
No, it's
25,375 deals this week. What do you mean? What do you
Yeah.
mean? Like, how can I filter anything of quality on their store? There's
no.
nothing.
You go into Steam and it's all like porn games, and like, not even games. They're just like basically porn images tied together with like
Like,
moaning sounds.
You move the squares around and there's a scantily
Yeah.
clad person behind it.
It's so depressing. But I think that there's also like a sort of an audience issue. Like, I did a bunch of different trailers for my game, and I come from a place where I was a motion graphics designer before I was a game designer, right? I kind of know my way about like trailers and rhythm and sort of pacing, and I want to have an arc to my trailers, right?
Mhm.
When I showed this to people in the gaming space, it was like, why is there no gameplay in the first frame? Now, gameplay. Now, show me why I played your game. And it's like, because I want you to have to go in like a bit of a journey with me. But no, that's why we have trailers that start with trailer starts now. because like fucking people have no attention span, so they can't even get through a minute of trailer.
Dude, it's gotten,
Right.
dude, things like TikTok and like stuff like that where it's like 15-second videos have ruined people, man. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
uh not to bring it up a second time, but if you guys use YouTube, if anybody's used YouTube and you watch your I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's like a timer, like how long they watch your video till they fall off. It is
Yeah.
seconds. It is not
Yeah.
minutes. It is
Yeah.
literally
No.
seconds. You have
Everyone's
seconds to
skipping right
capture
through.
someone's attention.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know whose problem it is. I understand. I ended up doing a bunch of little trailers that were just action, 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 just show you like, yeah, porn. You know,
Yeah,
bareback, right there.
that's a lot of these YouTubers who are big. They just, for me, I'm older. Look, I'm 40, and when these you like I watch
Yay,
popular YouTubers.
40.
Yeah,
We're
man.
40.
When I watch these popular YouTubers, they jump like I'm gonna throw out an example. And I like this person, Scott the Waz. His videos
Right.
are so fast. The first time I watched them, like what the fuck? Like it's almost like hard for me to comprehend what's happening. But I understand he's captured all the young people. He's captured all the old people that are old enough but like still understanding where he's going. Like everything happens so fast that you don't have time to think about what just happened. You have no time to
Yeah.
think about what he just said. He's already on to the next thing. And I think his videos are great, but it's also like I get done watching them like, what did he talk about?
That's too quick.
I have no idea.
I mean, all of these like TikTokers that are running over the sentences with the next sentence, and it's like it never has any pause because they need to keep on like I don't know. I find it exhausting, and yeah, there's no sense of rhythm. There's no sense of like arc to anything, and the same thing with my game. I feel like if I wanted it to sell more, I would have had to put like I don't know anime girls with larger tits. It's just it needs to be there. What you want needs to be there, right there. And like I show it to other friends, and they're like, "Oh, I would like it, but if it was darker and like more metal." And I'm like, "It is like get into the game. It's fucking metal. Just give it a chance. Give it a chance just for something to surprise you.
Yeah.
Give anything a chance for something to surprise you." But no one wants surprises in their porn.
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
I beat games that I don't even like sometimes, man. Like that, like just out of a point, I'm like, well, I'm this far. I might as well finish it. You know.
It's most of the games I beat.
I wasn't always like that. I was more like jumping all over the place, and it's still hard for me. But even if I like semi like a game, I'm like, all right, I got to beat this. Like that's been like a point of contention these past few years, is for me to complete more games, just so I can see like, you know, the full vision as opposed to halfway through and fall out. Like I'm kind of forcing myself to play. And in most situations, I like the games, right? But there you know, there's a handful of situations where I'm like, I'm just playing this to see the outcome at the end, and at the end, you may like the game more than you know when you were halfway through it, depending on what else happened.
I mean, Stockholm syndrome kicks in. So, no, but I get you. I also try to, although I barely ever play now.
Time is a Wes is a little bit older than us, so he has. I feel he doesn't have a lot of time. I'm not going to say Wes has a lot of time, but I feel like he has a little bit more time than me.
I don't have as much time as I want to. I really don't.
Do you have more time than 10 years ago?
I have less time than 10 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. More time than 5 years ago?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
When does it get better, Wes? That's all I want to hear out of your
It
mouth.
doesn't. It doesn't.
It's better at some point.
It doesn't. It all sucks. It's all downhill from here on out.
The problem is you never know how good you have it until it's gone, right? Like when I was in college and like just drinking and playing games and playing poker and stuff all the time, I took all that time for granted.
At least I'll say this is a hobby that we can do until we're practically dead.
True, which is true.
Oh yeah, when we're retired, we're going to be playing games all day long. Like you want to have a LAN party?
Yeah, maybe not like that. Those things are heavy.
But Bernardo, I just want to ask. You know, you've worked on this game, like you said, for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Sweating, blood, tears, all poured into this game. It has finally released. How
Mm-hmm.
does that make you feel?
Good. I mean, it's bittersweet, as I said. Um, Parts of me are kind of just thank God it's over. But I mean, other parts are fairly happy with the success, and like I don't know what to do with my time often. Like right now, I'm still working on it. I'll give you a first scoop, but I just today was implementing a third person mode, which
Oh, nice.
like it's more like a Mario now. You
That's
can
cool.
yeah.
Does
So
it make
that's
the platforming easier? I'd imagine.
some of it.
Some of it.
Some of it is harder, but like since you have the option to swap it, you can swap in real time. So
I just heard that they're making like God, what the hell was it? It was some popular first-person shooter. They're turning it third-person. Halo,
yeah,
They're
Halo,
making it a
Halo, yeah,
third-person game, and I was like,
yeah.
Wait, what?
yeah, yes, they're making Halo third. Like they're giving you the option, just like he said, right? They're giving you the
It's fun.
option to play third-person. I was just like,
Yeah.
I just look. That's cool to do, right? But this is Halo. Like, can you go do that shit to something else? Like, this is Halo. What do you know what Halo is? Can you understand the definition of what you're working on?
Well, I mean, Halo's
I
not Halo anymore.
I didn't hear that at all.
It's. I mean, I think it's fine. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I'm really happy that like there's time to
Mhm.
do other things now,
Okay.
to play around with. I mean, I really want to make some smaller things, some like fun projects. I want to get into Unreal. I want to see other options. Maybe work on little what's it called, like game jams.
Okay.
Nice.
Do things like that because I never had the time to do that, and yeah, I don't know. It always felt like if I do something like that, I'm gonna have to put this on hold, and yeah, not having it at least doesn't give you that excuse.
Okay. I know you
No.
just released this one, but any thoughts on your second game
I mean, this is like my fourth game technically.
or the next game? Let's say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I already have. I have been like pre-producing a game for again probably 5 years, 10 years as well.
Damn.
But I mean, it was mostly just in
Like
more
concepts and stuff.
like concept stuff. Yeah, some just prototype ideas. Nothing established, but it's my big baby.
Do
That's
you want to say what kind of game it's going to be, or you're not even close to that yet?
no, it is. It's absolutely it's a horror exploration game,
Oh,
and it's also a Metroidvania, but it's a very different type of Metroidvania.
yeah. I'm trying to wrap my head around that.
Dread.
It's
Think of Metroid Dread,
Dread. Okay,
maybe.
but it's a first person game.
but it's first person,
Yeah,
which I think probably works better for most horror.
yeah. It's but it's also like lightly horror. I don't want it to be a jump scare thing.
Okay,
It's mostly about exploration.
that sounds cool to me, man.
Yeah,
Exploration's some of the biggest stuff that I love. So
yeah. The same. I think that puzzle exploration is my jam. And what they call, I mean, my genre. I don't know if you guys know about this. This is a stupid thing that stupid people call stupid things. But there's a new-ish genre called Metroidvanias.
oh no, this sounds terrible.
No, it's fine. I like the idea of it.
What is it?
Um, it's basically a Metroidvania that doesn't limit you from abilities, but from your knowledge of the world and the functioning of the world. Like
It sounds like a
Fez.
lot of reading, though.
No, no, no. Like, have you played Tunic? You hadn't played Tunic.
I unfortunately have not played. It's not a game I would play. I would definitely play Tunic, but I have not gotten there yet.
You said you liked Zelda. Why don't you play Tunic?
I don't know.
It's a very
I heard it
Zelda-like.
was pretty damn hard too. Like I heard it was not.
Not really.
Oh,
I mean, there are moments in that game, but once you get to the point that you understand the mechanics of it, it's fine.
but if you don't like, here's the thing. This is my concern with that game. I don't know that it's true. I just heard that like you have to refer to your manual a lot, and which is fine. But I'm a dum dum, and I'm gonna forget about it. I'm gonna be sitting there for like 60 minutes, like what the hell am I supposed to do? And I'm supposed to refer to the damn manual. And I'm gonna
So
forget about it. I know it's gonna happen.
I'll tell you something. The manual is part of the game in the game.
But if I forget about it, that's gonna be a problem, is it not?
It's impossible to forget about it because it's the items in that game. The items in that game are the pages of the manual.
Okay.
So it insists upon itself. But the point is more that like your understanding the way that the world works makes it possible to progress through the world.
Okay.
I don't know if you played, probably not either, but Outer Wilds.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I have not played it.
Right.
Have you played that one, Wes?
I haven't.
It's a cycle that repeats itself every 22 minutes. It's a universe that's dying. And you have 22 minutes to explore this whole universe. And you can progress further, but the only thing stopping you is understanding what's happening. Right? And how to get to different places, because these 22 minutes are always repeating itself. Like the whole world is in this cycle. So by using those 22 minutes in an intelligent way, you can actually reach the end of this story. But that's what's limiting you. Only your knowledge of this. There's no more abilities that you unlock. There's nothing like unique to. There's no missiles that you shoot to the green button to open them, right?
Gotcha.
It's only your knowledge. So that's why Metroidvania is. But
I don't know. I'd have to try it. I'd have to see what they're all about.
I really would recommend Fez. I mean Fez is one.
Oh,
And Tunic.
I'm more. I know what Fez is. I'd probably be more interested in Tunic just because it is very similar to Zelda. So
yeah, I mean Tunic is very simple and it's not long. I don't think that you'll have trouble like getting to the true ending because it's very free to get there. But everyone gets a walkthrough.
yeah, usually with the games with multiple endings, I just beat it the way I beat it, and then I tell myself that was the ending no matter what, just because it was the ending that happened to me. Like these goddamn walkthrough
I'd just be happy with it.
Wes and I just talked about this on the last podcast, but you know those what the hell's his name? David Cage, the guy who did
Yes.
Quantic Dream, his
Yes.
games. I fucking all them up, dude. I mess everything up all the time. Always at the end. I go through the whole game, just nail it. Like everything I want to do, good. Last scene of the game, I destroy everything. I burn it all to the ground. All the progress I made. Do I go back and replay it? Like I probably should because I spent all that time. No, I just say I messed up. This is the outcomes of what I've done.
Well, so those games are silly. It's kind of funner for everything to be stupid at the end. I remember what's it called? Heavy Rain. It was so dumb. I just wanted everyone to die. I intentionally killed everyone in that game.
Heavy Rain was so good.
Why didn't you like it? What?
Because it's stupid, but it's funny. Like I don't know. It's this. Well, spoilers, but this cop had organized this saw-like traps, and then I don't know. He had the kid, and It's dumb. It's a dumb story.
But there are different endings depending on what you do. So it just
no.
depends.
No, I've seen them. I just
Oh man, Heavy Rain was I thought was so good.
Jason.
Like the Jason thing is funny. Yeah, the Jason thing is funny. But to Wes's point, that game was good, man. It was good.
Detroit was way better though.
Was it? I didn't get through Detroit.
Detroit was dope.
Yeah, it was.
I'm sure.
I'm going to throw something back at you, sir, just to end this on a high note for myself. I did finally play Hollow Knight.
Oh, yeah, well done.
It's not good. I don't like it at all.
You don't?
No.
Did you finish it, or?
No. I played... Here's how much I took your word. Not only did I played it multiple times, not enjoying it any of the times that I played it. And I'm not saying I'm not. There was a minute where I was like, I might understand this, I might get it. There was not fun. There was something not fun about the game, and it's hard for me to describe. The combat was fine. This
Right.
the aesthetics were pleasing. I like the darkness of the game, but I was just like, this is boring. That's all that kept coming into my mind. I know everybody has different opinions, but you had to shoot at Sonic, so I had to shoot at Hollow Knight. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I tried it like three or four times. I literally tried it over and over and over again, and I was like, I don't.
It's a very classic Metroidvania, though. But
I get that, but I was bored. Like, I'm not bored with Metroid. I'm not bored with Castlevania. You know,
no?
I don't know what about this game was boring to me, but I don't.
Was it challenging? Because that's one thing.
It was a little challenging.
It gets pretty hard. Like, that game gets pretty hard towards the end.
I can definitely see that happening, but I've also beaten like the first Ori and the Blind Forest. There was a goddamn level in that game that was so effing hard, where there was like a waterfall or something. Like, I wanted to throw the game in the trash, but I eventually got past it, and like that game was awesome. Was it like that hard, or did you play Ori?
No, I mean, it's much harder.
I don't think I would have made it. I probably would have gotten extremely frustrated.
No, I mean, the thing is that it's all optional, though. Like, once you get to 100% and the 120% of completion, they're all stupid. They're all stupid. Yeah. I didn't get 100. Like, I think I had like 113% completion.
That's still pretty damn far.
Yeah, but there's a few bosses that I was like, no, we're not gonna do that.
I mean, I could see it getting there. I was frustrated at a few different points, but
I think that like the point in that game that things clicked for me, I will say I see why. I think that it's also easy to get bored on Metroidvanias if you don't see a significant like level of progress or change.
I definitely didn't see that. I'm just like, what the hell is happening? Like, nothing is going like.
And I think
I wasn't getting more powerful. I was just like, this is just annoying. Like,
yeah, and I think that like the moment for me that happened is significantly far into the game, and it's a fight called the Mantis Lords. It's a fucking cool fight. I think it's one of the best like boss fights in Metroids ever. It's been like, did you play the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown? Yes,
sir.
I love that game, bro. Love that game.
So all of those fights in that game like are copied out of Hollow Knight.
Oh, really?
Yes, absolutely.
I had no idea.
They're homages, quotation marks, because like honestly, some of them have the exact same attacks, like everything.
Dude, that game I almost beat 100%. I was like 90 some percent. Like, I beat the hell out of that game. But there was a few things where I was just like, I got so frustrated with some of the platforming. I was like, I can't. I was like, you're killing me.
Yeah, I did. I also almost did, but I did not. Yes. The impossible climb wasn't.
I was going to say, did you do the impossible climb?
No, I was okay with it.
I tried that a few times. I was like,
yeah.
I gave up on it. My son did it.
Yeah. No, it's doable. It's just like
right. You reach a point where you're just like, it's not worth the headache.
We're over 40. Like, there's only limited time. Yeah, but I mean, again, I think that like the upside of that game is that it sort of compresses what Hollow Knight does. Hollow Knight is too long. But I will say, like, if you liked that game, there's all of that in Hollow Knight. All of that, honestly, every single aspect of that game
is taking so damn long to get to that point.
I will agree. I will agree that the start of Hollow Knight is a very slow, like, drip feed, and it's a little bit aimless. You don't know where to go.
Yes, yeah, I definitely had no like. Even when you start to figure things out, it's still like, well, what? I'm always like, well, I want to go this way because I always try to pick the wrong way. They're like, oh, the game wants me to go this way. I need to go this way. Like, I always try to pick the wrong way.
Yeah.
And sometimes I pick the right way, and then I can't go back, and then I'm like, well, what? Like, let me go back. Yeah. Like, and eventually you can, but it's just annoying.
No, often it'll just be more annoying,
right,
than anything. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm not. That's fine. I just think that it is probably the biggest evolution of like Metroidvanias today, Hollow Knight.
Okay.
And you can see how most of the newer Metroidvanias are emulating it. Like even what's it called, the latest Metroid, the
Dread.
Dread, has a
Dread.
Dread
lot
was
of
so
it.
good. Oh my god, Dread was so good.
Dread has a lot of it. Yeah, the Two Crowns. The if you've played the Nine Souls, is very similar as
I
well.
played it.
That's a new one. But yeah, most games are now Hollow Knight likes.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
fine with that. It just, I don't know, something
yeah,
didn't capture me about the game. That was my whole point. I just wanted to throw a little bit of shade back at you because of Sonic. So, so I feel a little bit better about myself today.
that's fine. Go ahead.
It's okay. Everybody that is like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Team
Yeah.
Chippy is amazing. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna get all that in the comments, I'm sure. But
I
Bernardo,
mean,
thank you so much for joining us today and discussing your game, discussing games in general, letting us know some stuff that's going on with it, with indie development in general. We really appreciate you having or coming back and speaking with us today.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I have good news about it in consoles soon enough.
Man, give us that
But
console. We'll have to have you
I
back
hope
on it.
so.
If you put it up on Xbox or something, I'm gonna play that most
Oh,
certainly.
of course,
Okay.
absolutely. Well, we'll bring him back for a third time to tell us about the consoles.
That'd be all right. Yeah.
That's right.
I'll be back.
One other shout out, Bernardo, if you guys didn't know, does pretty much all or like 99% of the art and graphics that are involved in Nerd Enthusiasts. He does all of our
That's true.
stuff. So thank you for doing that for us as well. We really appreciate it. We've been working with you since the very beginning, back in like 2019 or 2020, whenever the hell we really started to take this seriously. So thank you for doing all the art for us as well.
Yes, of course. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
All right. If people want to follow you or your company, where can they
Yeah.
do so?
So I am Bernardo Delcast at Bernardo Delcast in X or Twitter and mostly everywhere. And if you want to follow the company, it's at Raptus, Raptus Games. Same thing everywhere.
Wes, what about you, sir? Where can people follow you?
You can catch me on Instagram at Grendel5XBX or at Level Up Entertainment if you're ever in the Atlantic City area. Come stop by.
Absolutely. Buy, consume. I don't have anything for you to buy. Just support Nerd Enthusiast whenever you guys can. Nerdenthusiast.com. At Nerd Enthusiast on all social media platforms. Support our Patreon if you guys have the means or want to do that. You guys can follow me at from NJ2CA. The 2 is a number 2 over on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Have an awesome day.
Take care, guys.